Hi everyone, this is my Module 16 case study, Internet Use Violations, Threats Over the World Wide Web. What do I know? Roosevelt High School is in an affluent area in a large city. Parents are professionals such as doctors, lawyers, or partners in investment firms, and therefore have secure financial means, which allow the students to have the latest fashions and clothes and the newest technologies available. Dr. Forbes has been the principal for 9 years. 2 years ago, Dr. Forbes was named Principal of the Year. He is an established principal, respected by parents, and focused on maintaining a reputation as principal of the most prestigious school in the state. He has worked diligently to recommend only the most highly qualified teacher applicants for available positions. Ms. Walker is in her second year of teaching at Roosevelt High School. She is a little older than most beginning teachers, as she first completed both her undergraduate and master's degrees and another year of postgraduate work before becoming a teacher. She was hired to teach specialized science courses such as zoology, botany, and genetics. She is never married. She is intent on establishing a structured classroom focused on academics. She has a serious approach to instruction, and the rigor of the subjects she teaches establishes a classroom where students experience high levels of stress. Also, her classes are filled with students who are very competitive when it comes to grades. Dr. Forbes has received numerous calls about Ms. Walker's stringent expectations from parents concerned that their child will make their first low grade in high school, and has heard many complaints from parents and students about Ms. Walker's class workload and poor instruction. Dr. Forbes has discussed techniques with Ms. Walker to use to reduce student stress and increase positive interactions with students, but she hasn't successfully implemented his suggestions. So the incident happened over a 3-day weekend. Ms. Walker found an unidentified email Sunday afternoon once returning home, urging her to view a specific website for a personal message. The website had highly suggestive comments about Ms. Walker's personal behaviors and critical comments about the rigor of her classes using vulgar curse words. The final comment on the website was, "Who wants Ms. Walker to disappear?" Ms. Walker immediately phoned Dr. Forbes, reporting, "They've threatened to kill me, Dr. Forbes. What am I to do? I may not be safe alone in my apartment." Dr. Forbes responded with, "Calm down, Miss Walker, and speak slowly. I need to clearly understand what you're talking about." Miss Walker said, "It's a web page, Dr. Forbes. Someone created a web page that suggests someone kill me. Should I call the police?" Dr. Forbes, "Well, I don't know, Miss Walker. Can you give me the URL of the web page? Once I see what you're talking about, I'll know better how to help you." Miss Walker forwarded the email to Dr. Forbes. He looked at it and called Miss Walker back and stated he believed it was a prank, but wondered if Miss Walker had any ideas who it may be, if she had any unhappy, disgruntled, or disruptive students lately. Miss Walker said she suspected Randy Franks because he didn't like her, makes snide comments to others, and is clever about hiding his disruptive influence. He is also very helpful with computer problems. Dr. Forbes is going to print out hard copies of the email and webpage and seek district technologist help to determine where the email oriented. He also wanted to speak with Miss Walker, Randy, and some of his friends in the morning. Miss Walker stated she would be staying at her parents' tonight, which is 3 hours away. So I feel like we have two problems here. The main one is the threat from the email and the website, and then the side one is Miss Walker's teaching and relationships. I would say we first need to tackle the threat first, and then tackle Miss Walker's teaching and relationships. So first, the threat. What do I need to know? Who was involved in creating the web page? Who sent the email? They might be the same person, they might be different. I would also want to know what was the motivation behind the email and webpage. Was it just a prank? Was it to scare her? Was it to cause trouble? And was any school technology or internet used in creating or emailing Miss Walker? I would also want to clearly know the district policy on threatening teachers and computer usage. I would also like to have the legal precedents ready to reference. Can Ms. Walker take any legal action? Should she take any legal action? Has the website been seen by many? Do we need to do a whole lot of damage control, or just take care of it? And can the website be taken down? And have the students been educated on digital citizenship and cyberbullying? For Miss Walker, I'd want to know why the suggestions haven't been implemented, if she just didn't understand them, or just refuse to implement them. I would also like to know what can be done to improve her instruction without lowering expectations. Has she been in a mentor program? What types of instruction has she tried, and what discipline system does she have in place? So my plan of action to first deal with the threat would be to first, right away, make hard copies of the email and the website, so if they're taken down, I have a copy for my investigation. And then right away in the morning before school starts, I would want to check with Miss Walker because she might be rattled, and I want to make sure that she is fit to teach for the day, and if she's not, then get a sub right away. And I would want to check on her regularly throughout the day. As soon as possible, I would want to get the district technology department looking into the email and the website to determine who made the website and who sent the email, see if they could figure that out. The sooner the better. I would also want to get the local police department up to speed so that if we're not able to get it figured out right away, Miss Walker can feel safe in her own home, and they might have some clues or ideas of how to figure it out quickly too, and we would want to utilize them. I would also want to let my staff know, not all the details, but I would want to let them know that this website has been created and see if they can hear anything from the students throughout the day. And then I would begin questioning students by myself or with another administrator, not with Miss Walker, to find out what they know. I would start with Randy Frank, but I would not let him know that Miss Walker suspects him. And I would discreetly question all of Miss Walker's students, and I would try to get that done within the day to hopefully get it taken care of within the day. And then I would want to contact parents. My plan of action for the issue with Miss Walker is that I would first sit down with her and discuss the complaints she has gotten from parents and students to make her aware of them and see if she has any ideas about them. I would then create a plan with Miss Walker to improve her positive student interactions, as well as create a lower stress environment for students as well as herself, and this would help promote the academic success of the students, which is our goal. I would check in with Miss Walker often to make sure that the plan is being followed and to see if there is more areas Miss Walker needs help with to be successful. And I would set Miss Walker up with a mentor teacher who does a good job of having high expectations, good communication with parents, and lower student stress. Some strategies that I would use for both situations would be to utilize the technology department to investigate. I would collaborate with my other administrators and staff, so I wouldn't be the only one trying to figure this out. I would be objective and open, and I would take no sides. I would utilize police officers to assist. Hopefully they would have some ideas for me, and hopefully they wouldn't be needed for security, but they would be available for security if necessary. I would reference the school policies and legal precedents. I would take some time to reflect on what to do next, but not take too much time because I would want this to be taken care of right away. Then with Miss Walker, I would meet with her. I would personally mentor her and also set her up with a mentor to get the best results. I would set her up with some professional development opportunities and have an improvement plan. And I would want to increase consistent and improved feedback between Ms. Walker and myself. Some resolution decisions I would have to come over this case would, first I would need to find out who created the website and sent the email before I could do anything else. Then to decide on a consequence, I would need to reference the district cyberbullying policy. I would need to contact the parents and request a meeting about the incident and the consequences so that everyone knew what happened and what's going to happen. And I would request that the maker remove the website immediately and also write an apology to Ms. Walker. If we weren't able to find the website maker right away, I would try to send a request to the host to see if it could be removed before too many people saw it. Throughout the case, I would want to keep in mind three things for what's best for students. One would be a safe and conducive learning environment. That would be physically, mentally, and online. It would also need to be safe for students, school personnel, and visitors. For students to best learn from the situation, I would want them to understand the consequences so they'd understand what the consequences were and why they had to happen, and they would also learn from them. They wouldn't just be a punitive punishment. They would learn from their consequences and starting fresh. So whoever ended up being the culprit, I would make sure they had a fresh start once they were done with their punishment or consequence. So through the case, I was thinking that relationships matter, and those relationships could be with Miss Walker and her students. If she had better relationships with them, they might feel that they could vent their frustrations in a better way. Also, the relationships that you make with students, if you have good relationships with them, they are going to let you know when things like this happen, and they are also going to help you figure out who did it too. I was feeling concerned for Miss Walker as a teacher, being concerned like, will she want to continue teaching, and also does she feel safe? And my concern also was just the ease of getting in trouble nowadays with the technology and what students can do with it. It can easily and quickly go from a simple little prank to a lot of trouble. And I was also valuing that Miss Walker felt comfortable that she could talk to Dr. Forbes and get a solution to this problem. So some unresolved issues and further investigation. Still need to figure out who did it. Also need to figure out ways to improve Miss Walker's relationships and fix the complaints that have occurred in the past. Also, I would like to know more about the digital citizenship education of the students. Do we need to stop what we're doing in our regular curriculum and focus on digital citizenship, as that is the way of the world now? And how can we better prevent this from happening? What's a better way that we can make complaints known besides having a complaint box, which is never a good idea? 3 things to help show that I have integrity and ethical behavior is that I took the threat seriously and began the investigation right away, and I held back judgment. I didn't accuse a student of being the one that did it, looked into it, and also didn't say that this was all Miss Walker's fault because she didn't implement the suggestions. So going along with that, being fair, equitable, having dignity and respect, is I didn't put Miss Walker's fear down. I didn't say she was being silly for this fear, but I looked into it and said her fear was valid. I also didn't accuse anybody of being the culprit. I also didn't accuse Miss Walker of this being her fault, and I would be open to the information of the students. And I also wouldn't degrade Miss Walker for this is all your fault because you didn't implement the suggestions. Safety is the #1 concern here with all involved. We definitely want to have a learning environment that is conducive to learning for the students, so it needs to be safe, but it also needs to be a place where they feel that they are going to learn and not just have struggles like in Miss Walker's class. And everyone involved needs to be treated fairly and with respect, and with figuring out who did it, and also then their consequences. Thank you for watching.